Hello everyone and welcome back. Today we are going to be playing Chandra Time. It's been one of my favorite decks of the year, and we're going into a new year. I'm going to play it one last time in the final hurrah of 2023. So this is it. Something really funny kind of happens at the end of the video, at least at the end of the gameplay video, and we end up finding a lot of really clutch wins with this deck, which is really exciting matchups. We had 2 cards in our deck at one point. Outside of that, let's just hop into the games. I hope if you're watching this after the new year, you had a good New Year celebration. Everybody's safe, drive safe, get home early, do your thing, do what you got to do, but you know, don't go too crazy. We got games of Magic to play, so let's get out there, let's start playing. I hope you all enjoy it. Putting this first, okay. A mall. Time for us. We have removal, and we have like a little bit of ramp here. Enchantments, maybe. There's a Skrell. Skrell's kind of tough to deal with. Rose Hood in would be best draw. Oh yeah, maybe. No, Spirit Companion. So we are enchantments for sure. Take a draw. Slower start. That's for sure. Regardless, I still think we take out the Skrelv here. I don't think there's a world when we let Skrelv go. Although I could ramp and then just big score and just bypass all this maybe. Yeah, let's try that. Right now they don't have a whole lot going on, but next turn they could. It will kind of be important, but they'll just take out pretty much Bearded Companion. Or 12, I guess. I think it's kind of holding up protection regardless. Then we can do both here. The only problem now is like Calyx will generate a lot of value. Going to sacrifice non-token creature. All we got. Well, they have the insight to give it protection. Nope. Okay. Great for us. Now we get that off the battlefield, and now it doesn't feel like we slowed down at all. Score is great, but if we miss, we miss. Mommy, all that nonsense, fine. Let's just get our Proving Ground down. Solidify our mana a little bit more. And we will probably fire off the big score regardless here. Counter on Visitor. Mommy's bigger. The stat just gets bigger. Getting hit for quite a lot, so let's take a look first. That's a tough one. It'll have to be probably in a Tolly angle here. We need to make sure we play it basic, because if we hit an ossification off their deck, we're going to want to be able to have it. Tolly. We'll decline the Iron Crag trigger, because we're not going to be able to do that anytime soon regardless. Yeah, so we want to put Kami on the stack first, so it doesn't resolve, or our burn down the house does. Then now we'll get the Kami to come in, and it'll be just kind of there. All right, go first. These are the hands that are kind of risky, but you know it. We've been here long enough. You know how we are. We'll keep this. We'll draw the lands, hopefully. Have a couple removal spells early. Mimic Explorer, our favorite. Play field. Let's get the Iron Crag down. Get it started. I want to set up hopefully for a turn in which we can go for the throat. Oh, this is just perfect. Okay. Wasn't sure what it was going to be. Non-token creature here. And I don't want them to be able to flash in the one that says sacrifice Merfolk counter stuff unless they pay to. So we'll just get that. And then this has to be a non-token creature attacking, so they won't get a lot more going on. Oh, yeah. I have the Schooner set up play because we can choose to sacrifice a non-token creature, which would be the Schooner. That respects. Stack is fine. Obviously, we're kind of going to keep our Edict up and handy. Demolition field. We have another land for Chandra. Yeah. So, I mean, they have to be playing a lot of basics, right? I can't imagine they're not. Make things like a little complicated, but the only reason they wouldn't have a lot of basics is the fact that they could, in theory, be on the part of the, like, I play a few amount of lands, so I actually don't have that many basics. Or they can declare this as a blocker. We'll try to make them sacrifice a non-token creature. I have 3 mana available, and they do not have enough merfolk to sacrifice. Counter it, so it has to kind of be a hard counter spell. Oh, draw 2 cards. Meeting of the month. Interesting. Yes. I will end up demo feeling something because we need another red regardless. So we'll see the basic count eventually. We're gonna make it harder. We're gonna make them go get another basic so they won't have a dual land kind of sitting around. And their mana access a lot easier. There's an island. We take our action here. Go and grab another red, like we said. I don't like giving them a red like available here, but I think we just kind of have to. And here comes our Chandra. Go for the throw, does nothing here. And we'll exile top 5. See if we hit something. Watch it be 5 lands and then we do nothing. I mean, my problem is we don't have a target. Oh, they gave us the target. Sick. I need a second target. Thank you. We don't know why we needed a second target. If you have anything that ever copies the spell, so like our Chandra should copy the sorcery speed spell here. If you have anything that ever copies the spell, the original copy goes on the stack first, right? And then the second copy goes on the stack. So if we copy something, regardless. Wow, they're really crewing this up. Oh, okay. So do that, sure. The original copy goes on the stack, and then the second copy goes on. If the second copy resolves and it kills the creature, and the first one doesn't have a target anymore, it'll actually fizzle and kind of like counter that spell. So let's get these off the battlefield. Sure. We haven't answered all this, so we'll see if they stick around. We're gonna plus regardless. I guess we can just do it like this again, right? We've already made our copy. We hit another virtue. Beat, I guess. We'll do 5 here because this will hit Chandra for 5, but Chandra will live, and they are not the most direct damage dealing deck possible. And because Burn Down the House won't double here, our Chandra will stay alive, and then we'll have another virtue on backup. If not, we'll just play virtue next turn. And then we'll start reanimating creatures, and then we have a go for the third to kind of be any backup, and it'll double because of Chandra. So definitely a tough spot for them once their board gets cleared there. All right, we go first. I mean, I don't know what better hands are out there in terms of just like, obviously a 3-drop draw would be great, but we do have a 2. We have 4 mana. We do have like a follow-up play on 4. Get a close down if it is. So I missed the pass turn. So I thought I hit the stop before combat. No, I missed it. I just ended up hitting it again because I'm stupid. Yeah, let's get that off the battlefield. I'm like playing against Mono Red and Mythic. It's like my favorite pastime. It's just like, you really could just play anything else now. But if you don't have the rares, I get it. On one hand. Mono Red went Felden into attack me with Foundry. I feel pretty good, to be honest with you. Let's just get the Archfiend down, make them have to play something. If not, my Archfiend will outpace most things that they do. And it's got flying. Sure, if you want to remove this, Be my guess. Lightning strike. Play with fire. To get my Archfiend off the battlefield. Fantastic. You know what that means? Way less burn spells than my Chrome, and I'm okay with that. All right. So apparently, if you play against Monored and you play 2 6/6s, go first. I mean, sure, I guess. So we have like a 2-drop and like 4-drop ish. Even though our lands don't really apply for that, we are on the play, so I'm gonna give this one a shot. You can definitely get overran with this hand. Definitely not get to this in time, or like even this in time. But a black land gives us some hope. They're not gonna crush us real quick. Words off. It'll be a little bit slower. We're gonna have to rely on a Tali. Amelia. It's pay 3 life, right? Yeah, pay 3 life to target that. Realistically, let's just deal with it now before yeah, I would like to target. Yes, I would like to take the action. We end up at 19, so the ward is kind of null and void. Don't really care too much for it. And then I always have a struggle. I'd love to see what we end up drawing first. Draw another Haunted Ridge. Because on one hand, right, I would love for Big Score to hit like a Breach the Multiverse, but we're not guaranteed to hit a Breach. But I guess regardless, we could just discard the Atali anyway and then slam the Virtue. Will they be able to handle that? I mean, maybe. Take more damage to play the Steel Seraph. They're going to hope the life gain from that can outpace their Phyrexian Arena, which definitely can. You can outpace the Phyrexian Arena, but the Cave of Kolos, kind of more or less what I'm referring to. Although, like, what does not slamming an Atali here do, right? Go for the third. It's actually the worst card if it's an artifact deck. Yeah, I'm going to just do it this way. Don't hit. Could Shieldred's Edict that thing, but I'm not gonna. Here comes Demolition Field. Here comes our Atali. Might hit removal regardless. Hit a Celestis, which is great. And then we hit a Giada. Very nice. I have Giada. Then now next turn, I can 4, 5, 6. I can play another Field of Ruin. I could Virtue if I want to. I can burn down the house if I want to, which burn down the house is now the play. Giada will die regardless to our burn down the house, so we definitely throw a block here. We'll take our draw. We'll lose a little bit of life. Brothers Hit in. Cool. Not necessarily the best play for us. Get Proving Ground down. Do -5, -5 on all this. Or deal with 5 to all this. Then we're gonna hit with the big stick here. That's good. Now, if we have a way to flip it and they tap out again, they'll have to be they'll be forced to block. It'll have Indestructible. Well, it ain't gonna do nothing now. It isn't doing nothing now. Okay, what do we hit? Another burn down the house.
What you get for hurting my people.
Could just play this. I would love to do that. Going to do something a little bit different, I think. Go ahead and make 3 of these. Go to combat. One here. Here. It doesn't matter if they cut down one. We'll still get the Emperor off the battlefield. It'll be fine. And then we get to hold up the Edict as well. Kind of where we're at. And they're also so close dying here that I'm just looking to clear the way and just close out the game early or force them to do something desperate. I don't know what that would be, but I have to assume they do play Farewell to some degree, maybe, because some people play it as kind of like a catch-up card. We'll enter, do nothing right now. Sacrifice a non-token creature. Get this off the battlefield. They're only left with Mirix. And we find lethal here. Yes, we do. So whenever another creature control dies, we lose life. So we'll get that off the battlefield. We'll then go to combat, attack, and we will Brotherhood in the board, dealing 3 damage to all creatures. These will deal 1 damage apiece, and then we will target them for 3 more damage. We'll end up closing out the game that way. Definitely like a scary situation there. I just really didn't want to play the Virtue for our opponent to somehow remove it right away. Destroy Evil is like a good example of something they could be playing as just like a removal, and then we took that entire turn off, and then they built some minimal on the board, and then we had to deal with it later. So I just went a different route, and it ended up paying off, but maybe playing Virtue at some point was the better plan. I mean, we had them all that, right? I mean, just a much cleaner hand, so sure. We'll end up throwing the Atalia away, I think, with this one. Obviously, having big score into Atalia is great, but big score into a lot of things is great, and we might need these to, I don't know, stay alive. Oh, yeah. One thing leads into another. Esperland, sure, we'll play another Cliffs in case we draw a 3rd one in a row, so we don't have it entering tapped at any point. Worst case, honestly, with their hand is that they're playing control, and that's kind of what it looks like. Make this appear. Nope, it sticks. Sure. Well, we did find a land regardless. Our opponent does nothing here. We'll get to redraw and throw maybe a go for the 3rd away. Demolition Field is a keep. Go for the 3rd is not. We throw it away. We have the mana for big score regardless, and we won't be able to pay for a make disappear regardless. So we will actually just play this down. Find our mana a little bit more. And we will big score throwing, go for the throw away, I think. Could counter this, which is kind of a devastating play for us, but haven't shown us to be playing a lot of counter. I would assume their hand's full of just removal, and we'll figure that out when we play this Archfiend. Or we can just burden on the house, but I'd rather say burden on the house token production whenever I can actually make the mana harder. Yes, we can. They can float a mana here, but we'll just pass through phases, which will take it away. Whether they realize it or not. Get a swamp. We take the action. Look, opponent. I'll even grab a swamp with you. Next. They know. Which then clears the way for Archfiend to resolve. Sure. Score, no surprise. Or memory to lose, no surprise. I don't know why I said big score. I mean, same thing. 4 mana. Get 2 cards regardless. Alright, well. I'll play an Archfiend now. Then I'll end turn. We'll try to headbutt him with this. Damages a lot. Iron Crag, sure. I still have 4 mana. Sure. Okay. I'll take the action. The end can go. Again, we'll use these to make 5/5s if we have to. Or 3/3. Or 3 1/1s. Holy. Leave me alone. I'm struggling today. Alright, make 3 1/1s. And Haunted Ridge. Could have used the Haunted Ridge to discard, but I like making actual permanent mana until we get to about that 7 mana area. We have 6, and then the Celestis can be considered 7, but again, they untap, they farewell us. If they feel it's necessary, then we're not quite in the spot that we'd like to be anymore. You have an Edict, though. An Edict's going to be important for whenever they play their big walker at some point. Don't play Shieldred in this deck, however, so they're going to get to draw all day. That draw feels like a stress draw. Oh yeah, everybody's favorite guy. What do you want to do here? You plussing? You minusing? That's fine with me. At 4, I'm just gonna remove it. The reason I remove it here is so they can't do the thing where they like mill us and then they soul partition it and mill us again. They use that as an out. I'm not doing that. Not doing that plan. Really don't care enough to hold that back. Now we're just gonna slam a virtue. We're gonna pass. Have Archfiend to come back repeatedly. Hopefully that's enough, but we could get farewelled here again. Like I said, all possible. Definitely going to most likely be in their deck list, because if they are playing Jace and they mill us and there's troublesome cards in our graveyard, they're going to want to farewell us. Just get hit with a Sunfall. Okay. Have Destroy Evil. Lost. I mean, get lost, I guess, even earlier was also an answer to the problem I brought up. Unless it's Ollie. A big score is great. Hey, look, I can Jace you. Or why not? I love Jace. Jace is cool. Especially whenever he's on my side.
Emotions are distractions. Focus on the facts.
I'm gonna keep him.
will
Oh, there goes
shatter
2
your
breaches.
mind.
So it's actually a really good thing we did do that. And if you're unsure why, it's because sometimes their plan is to Jace you and then breach you and then you'll run out of cards. But if we get the Chandra down and we breach them, they'll have 4 cards left. We're definitely in the mill race now. I have a lot of things going for me. I have an Atali. They can obviously bring up this and kill the Jace, so I can't plus it anymore. Probably what they should do, but what is it? What they will do? I have no idea. You get lost it. They have an answer, but they use the get lost. Okay. Sometimes you can't save them all, you know. Maybe they're afraid of my mana open. I don't see why you would be, but all right. Well, I'm gonna lead off with the Chandra. I have 4 treasures, so should be fine unless it's a hard counter spell. Sure. We have 38 cards. Mill's 15, so Jason the Jace won't do it if I minus here or plus here. Looking for some spells. And they're at 24, so wait. I can use this to create pressure. We'll make 6 1/1s that will be attacking every turn if possible. I guess I could hold 1 back. Maybe protect Chandra, but they don't really have a way to do anything about it. Yeah, there's no holding back here. It's just full scale. Back. Then Chandra minus becomes more relevant as well. Yep. Figured out how to plus it here. Especially if there's a card on top that's actually like valuable, because then we can actually bring the map tokens into action and just start putting counters on all of our devils. They have exactly enough to Jace twice and mill me and then hope the last 3 cards are duds. Chandra is almost lethal on her own. Well, technically is if they don't do anything about it. Might be another Sunfall scenario, but they should hit Chandra first. I'm not going to tell them. Planeswalker or Creature. They hit an Atali from us. The Jace. Ollie trigger, Ironcrag trigger. Archfiend plus Sunset Revelry. They'll gain some amount of life here, which is kind of tough. Like, kind of tough, I guess. Now, what will you do with your Jace? Regardless. Can I just draw Breach? That'd be so sick. They're gonna mill me out, or try to.
I pull one thread, and your entire mind unravels.
Back off, creep.
One, two. We only play two. Ooh, what to do? What a hit on. What a card to have just loaded. I mean, I'm pretty sure we have to do this. I don't think we have a choice. Land. Archfiend. 1, 2, 3. Here. Here.
No, this isn't happening. To a crisp.
Next. Attack with these. Sure. Five could end up being enough, actually. Sure. Forgo. Some of the Archfiend triggers were there, so now they'll get 4 on me. I'll lose 8. Resolve all here. Yeah, we end up getting there. Crazy game. Wow. Oh boy. So the other thing, regardless, maybe it was just lethal if I did it, but the other thing, regardless, is brothers. It was, yes, because I would kill 5 creatures, 3 of theirs would die. I think it was enough. Attacking did kind of the same thing, but I was hoping the brothers would end after combat here, and then this would have died, and this would have died, and our Archfiend would actually trigger 2 more times. So we actually had it by a lot. I don't know why my brain wasn't mathing. Math wasn't mathing. You mean to tell me that it just reset? I just recorded it. It just reset. I could have waited like an hour and did it on a new season. All right, whatever. It's fine. What in the world? What bad timing. Well, I guess that's it, huh, team? So we'll talk about the deck. We'll start again tomorrow. Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Yeah, so the deck's sweet. I hope you all enjoyed it. Overall, I have fun playing this deck. It's honestly been one of the most fun decks to play, and I think it's really good at climbing early, even though now we know the new season just started. And you might be like, well, why is it good climbing early? Because it's really good against all the aggro decks, supposedly. You'll still lose to red sometimes when they're on to play and they have the nuts hand. Nothing you can do about that. But we are good against those decks, especially when we are on the play, because in terms of just removal alone, like we have 7 really clean board wipes, we have 6 spot up removals, we have acceleration to get to our late game potentially. But like if you just look in terms of cards that mono red can't really deal with or hinders mono red, we have all this removal, we have the board wipes, we have a little bit of life gain here with the virtue. Then Archfiend, as we saw in the mono red matchup today, is just a brick wall against red that also just gets to outpace them if they don't have a super aggressive hand. So we saw them, they played a Felden, we got rid of it immediately, didn't have to burn it, so they got no value. We have 8 ways to do that. And then we played an Archfiend. They used a Phoenix Chick plus 2 burn spells to get the Archfiend off the battlefield, because if they did not, we're swinging 6, we're hitting them, any creatures they play that die, this drains them for more, then we're hitting them for 6 again very quickly. I mean, 2 hits is 12 plus a burn is 14. Now they have 6 life left, which is exactly lethal. So they really have to give it the attention it deserves, or they will lose the game. Outside of that, we have obviously a lot of top end that's really nice, and it just worked out well. I think today's games do show overall the best abilities of this deck and where you kind of find yourself filling in the slots. I will say you are vulnerable to some decks, like Lana Blue is really weird. Like, They just do nothing, and as soon as you put like anything important on the stack, they deal with it. Or like sometimes playing an Archfiend and they fading hope it. It's just kind of like annoying. Soldiers can kind of pace you sometimes. It really relies on a Thalia hand and you not having a Brother's Hood in. But if you have a Brother's Hood in on that 4-mana curve and they didn't play an Adeline, you're good. Or if you can kind of Brother's Hood it and leading into a burn down the house, like you generally have that matchup also mopped up. But other than that, that's all I really got today, especially because the new ranked season ruined it. So I'm glad we got some good games in before that happened, because that would have been embarrassing. Can you imagine uploading a video and being like, yeah, look at all these games in Mythics. Oh, how did he get back to plat? It'd be so funny. But I hope you all enjoy, and I'll catch you all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.